Hi there, thanks for tuning in. So you probably have one or more of these water bladders or hydration bags or dromedary bags or probably some similar water bags used as part of a gravity water filtration system. I use these all the time for backpacking and sea kayaking. But when the trip is over and we get back home, how do we get the insides of these bags dried out to avoid growth of mold or mildew? Some people just store the hydration bags in the freezer between trips. If you do that, I recommend you remove the caps so that any water in the threads doesn't expand during the freezing process and potentially crack the cap. But I'm going to show you a system that I came up with that works pretty well for me. And the system I use is based on an aquarium pump. I'm using Marina 200 aquarium pump. I'm sure there are others out there that will work, but it's important that the aquarium pump has 2 output tubes. I'll put a link to this pump down in the description below. So I have 2 output tubes here. And basically what I will do is thread them up into the bag so that the ends of the tubes are as deep into the bag as they will go, at least to start off with. This does 2 things. First, having 2 tubes in here opens up and separates the sides of the bags to promote airflow within the bag. And second, air comes out the ends of the tubes and then flows through the bag and out towards the cap. The separation and airflow together promote rapid drying of the interior of the bag. So let me show you this. I'm just feeding the tube in, trying to guide it with my other hand. Now the second tube. I want the end of the second tube inserted at a similar depth but at a different spot in the bag. So these 2 tubes have created an air gap for air to flow through within the bag. We can expect air to flow like this and this and dry out maybe 1/3 of the bag. I'll let this run for maybe a couple hours, then I'll reposition the tubes a bit closer to the cap, such as here. And here. Let's let that run for a couple hours. Then reposition again. The idea is to reposition a few times so that all the areas of the bag interior get separated and have airflow. It's nice to have a transparent bag like this so you can see what's going on. It's actually all easier than it sounds and looks. Now I want to show you a little more advanced method I recently came up with. It is very similar but involves creating airflow inside a completely inflated water bag. And it all starts with a jar of peanuts, or at least with a lid from a jar of peanuts. This lid from a jar of Planters peanuts just happens to match the threads of my water filter and dromedary bags. Anyway, the idea is to find a cap that fits the bag. And it can't be the original cap for the bag because the first step here is to drill holes in it. So I'm going to drill 2 holes using a drill bit that's about the same size as the tubes. Now you want this to be a fairly tight fit, so maybe err on the side of the smaller drill bit, and then use the next larger drill bit until the tubes just fit through the holes. Now we'll put the cap on the bag and insert the tubes through these holes. Or often it's easier to thread the tubes through the cap first and then attach the cap to the bag. And I'll shove the tubes pretty much to the bottom of the bag. What you'll see now is that the water bladder is inflating. Now we're getting great separation between the interior walls of the bag. See it inflating here? This can provide great airflow over all the interior surfaces of the bag. But while so far we have inflation, this does not really mean that we have any airflow, To have airflow, we also need air to come out of the bag to vent the moisture, even while keeping the bag inflated. There's some minor air leaks here where the tubes come out of the cap. You can feel the bag is still strongly pressurized. So what I'm going to do next is drill a small hole in the cap to provide an air outlet. I'm starting with my smallest drill bit because I need an outlet hole that is large enough to let air out for ventilation, but small enough to still keep the pressure in the bag for inflation. So this is really a balancing act. Start with one small hole. Okay, I can feel some air coming out now, and the bag inflation still feels pretty strong. It's still holding a lot of pressure. So now we'll drill a second hole. I've got more air coming out now, and the bag pressure still feels pretty strong. So let's drill a third hole. Okay, I've got even more air coming out to ventilate moisture now, and I still have enough pressure to inflate the bag. But it feels like if I drill any more holes, I risk losing pressure in the bag to maintain good inflation. So I'm going to stop there. So there you have it. Hope you find this interesting and useful. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button for me. I'd love to hear what techniques you use to dry out your water bladders, so please put those in the comments below. Please subscribe to my channel here if you're interested in outdoors and photography, and thanks for watching.